If there's one thing you're going to make from home this season, it's pumpkin pie. Please do it. I mean, Costco, I love you, but the pies are lacking. And you should get my recipe. You can have it. Just watch the video. Costco, you can have my recipe. I will show you. Just buy the chickens, ladies. Buy the chickens and make the pie. Don't make the turkey at home. The chickens are amazing. The pie, not so much. Do it at home, and I'll show you how right now. Before we get started, you need to decide your pie size. This is a regular pie size. This is like deep dish. Not Costco size, but it's deep. You get more filling, less crust. It's awesome. So you can do this recipe. We'll do it in a way where you can do the small regular pie pans or like the bigger deep dish style, which is what I prefer. I want more filling to crust ratio. Okay, I am going to make my own crust at home. We're going to start with 3 cups of flour. It's a 2-to-1 ratio to your fat. So I use what we call fake butter. You can use real butter if you want. We also call this vegan butter when we want to feel bougie. So 2-to-1. So 3 cups, 1.5 cups fat. And then we'll mix up our wet stuff in here. I'm going to get this going. It's super easy if you have a KitchenAid mixer, which I highly recommend. They say, like in the trades, like if you just have a hammer and a screwdriver, it's going to be hard to build a house, right? But if you have the right tools, like it can be easy and fun. So I highly recommend if you have anything in your kitchen, this is one of my favorite tools of the trade. And tongs. Like I grew up without tongs. Like Mom, like I know you're watching. Like how did we grow up without tongs? How did you fry things? I don't know. Like I can't live without them. And scissors, like cutting things like bacon, so easy. You just, I grew up without scissors. Mom, I don't know how you did it. You probably still do it without tongs and scissors. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, Mom. But yeah, so 2-to-1 ratio, 3 cups flour, 1.5 cups butter or fake butter, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get that going. I'm going to add 1 egg. And sorry, I don't use measurements. A splash of vinegar. And I'll measure it. I think it's like a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of water. Depends how humid you are. I'm in a pretty humid environment, so we're just going to do like that. Like a splash of vinegar. Like I live in a literal rainforest on the Oregon coast. We're going to whisk that up. And I'm just going to go with water. Cold water. That's it. So it should look like that. I'll measure it for you just in case. So this is 1/3 of a cup. Let's turn that off. So it's probably like 1/2 cup of fluid, 2/3 of a cup all together, your egg, your vinegar, and your water. And then once you've got this at that pea crumbly stage, you can add your liquid in. Get this hurried along. So super easy crust, pretty foolproof. I struggled with pie crusts for like I won't lie, more than 10 years. I want to say like 5 years ago I kind of figured it out. So 15 years of marriage. Could not get pie dough figured out. It was always too dry. And I didn't realize that. It just wouldn't roll out. It would just, you would roll it and it would spring back. And I finally watched like America's Test Kitchen, I think. And they're explaining like most people struggle with it because it's too dry. That was me. It was like way too dry. So it's got to be like almost unbearably wet when you're done. So if it's not wet enough, you get to learn when you look at it, you're like, you can always add a little bit of water. You're not going to hurt it. But it's pretty wet. Like, I'll show you. Like that. Like, it's really, like, can you hear it? It's audibly wet. Like, it's very wet, sticky. It sticks to you when you touch it. I'm a visual learner. I'm sorry. I'm just going to show you because that's how I learn. That's what you want to feel it, touch it, lick it, whatever. I know we don't always learn just by reading recipes. That is what it needs to look like. So you really want to flour your surface when you roll it out. You want to flour your hands. It's going to be a wet, sticky mess. But once I learned the moisture thing, it was a lot easier. So I'm going to start rolling that out, and then we'll get to the filling, which is the most important, delicious part. I mean, if we didn't need crust, I wouldn't even make it. It's just a way to get the pie to my face, right? Okay, here is the secret sauce. You get the Libby's recipe online, or if you've already bought the pie mix, look on the back. There's going to be 2 recipes. You take the classic one on the left, and we're going to take the sugar. It says 1.5 cups. You're going to half that. You're going to do half of it brown sugar, trust me, and half of it white sugar. Don't do all white sugar. It's going to change the flavor dramatically. Like, you're going to love it. And if you're going to just do this size can, because you're doing the little pie pans, like, go for it. Or even if you're using the smaller can, just follow it. Just half the sugar, half brown sugar, half white sugar. And then, yeah, cinnamon and ginger, invert. Do way more ginger than cinnamon. Trust me on that. The cloves, but then a little dash or 2 of allspice. So all we're changing is the sugar, half and half, brown sugar, white sugar. Invert your cinnamon and ginger, way more ginger than cinnamon. Do your cloves normal, and then add a little of allspice. That is all you need to do, and you can take that with any can. I'm not even going to use this. I got this at the food bank, and it's butternut squash puree. We get that a lot. We get pumpkin a lot, and then we get sweet potato a lot, and I just treat them all the same. All the same, totally. They're totally, like, the kids don't know butternut squash from sweet potato to pumpkin. They're all pretty good. They actually, when they really, really like it, it's almost always sweet potato. So if you get canned sweet potato and you don't know what to do with it, make pie out of it. It's amazing. So I'm going to use 3 of these. So we're going to alternate, or kind of add to the recipe a little bit. We're going to add a little egg, add a little sugar. But I'm going to give you this recipe as I make it. So follow along. Yeah, I'll just show you snippets. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. We have our 3 cans in here. And I'm going to add my spices. And I've done this so many times. What does the can say? It says 1 teaspoon ground ginger. That's not nearly enough. We're going to double that. Plus we've got extra cans. So it'd be 2 teaspoons. I'm going to do like a heaping one. I'm going to put that in there. So that would mean it says 2 teaspoons ground cinnamon. And I'm going to do like 1 teaspoon. I don't want to taste like cinnamon pudding. Costco tastes like cinnamon pudding. Like, you can't even taste like the pumpkin. That richness just doesn't come out. One of the things I add also is nutmeg. I know not everybody loves nutmeg, but I'm going to put like 10 shakes in there. I don't measure, I'm sorry people. Allspice, like 3 shakes. Cloves. Yeah, like 3 shakes. Just ground cloves. Delicious. And one of the things people assume is you have to go buy like evaporated milk. I was desperate one day and I had already started making it. I've used powdered milk, I've used skim milk, I've used regular whole milk. I've taken water and whole whipping cream and diluted it. It doesn't seem to matter. You need a little bit of that fat and protein for it to set up right. Like, if it's just water, it's not gonna work. You end up kind of with a soupy mess. But you can use powdered milk. I would just double, like if you read the instructions on the back, I would double that. You can use whole milk, seems to work best. That's what I'm going to use. Actually, 2% because my kids don't like 2%. We're going to use 2%. And on the can, what does it say? 3 cups of carnation evaporated milk. We're not going to do that. We're just going to do this. So 3 cups, just regular milk right out of the fridge. It's a very forgiving recipe. I made it one time and forgot the sugar. And the look on my father-in-law's face when he bit into it, he wasn't going to say anything, But as soon as I took my bite, I knew something was very wrong. Don't forget the sugar. It's so bad. It's like the things nightmares are made out of. I just added the eggs. I did 6 eggs because I did 3 of the small cans. If you do this size, it says you need 4 eggs. And then I'm going to add the sugar. So just remember, half brown, half white. I'm going to repeat that because the flavor is totally different. So we've got 3/4 cup brown sugar. If you're doing the 1 large can, I'm doing 3 cans. So I'm going to do a cup of brown sugar and then a cup of regular white sugar. And that's literally it, guys. Just heavy on the ginger, lighter on the cinnamon. Just add some brown sugar in there. And it's going to be amazing. I've got to go, so I'm not going to wait and then show you the end result. It'll be in the thumbnail. I'll take a picture and you can see it. But I'm telling you, try this. Tell Costco they can have my recipe. It's 10 times better. I may be biased, but I can actually taste something when I eat it. It's pretty good.